We could talk about Tyquan Thornton. We could talk about the way they ran the ball really effectively. We could talk about how Caleb Williams looked like me against the first-team defense. Like we could talk about a lot of things. If the Chiefs' offensive line plays like that, they will not be beaten many times in 2025.
It's that football show here on KC Sports Network. Tucker Franklin hanging out with Matt Verderame on a beautiful Saturday. A great, wonderful Saturday. It's always a way better Saturday when you get to watch Patrick Mahomes sling the ball around the yard. And you get some Ben Holiday bottled and bond bourbon. Thank you to our partners at Holiday Distillery as well. Matt, how you feeling? How things going?
Feeling good. Got the weekend. Chiefs preseason is over. They got out of the preseason without any major injuries. So that's a huge win.
Yeah.
And I think it's pretty safe to say, granted, I'll preface this by saying we didn't exactly see a ton of the starters first 2 weeks. But after watching what was an atrocity breakout in Seattle, they looked pretty fucking good on Friday. They took it to the Bears in a way that the Bears, even though it's a preseason game, the Bears might remember for a little while. That was, I think to put it mildly, that was a ritualistic killing in the first quarter of that football game. So, yeah, I think if you're the Chiefs, you feel pretty damn good about the way you wrapped up the preseason.
The players that matter made it matter. And I think that's the best way that you can put it. And that's honestly going into this game, it was one of those things where Matt Lane said this, and I echo his sentiment so much, where one of the things that he wanted to see was just make me feel something. And boy, howdy, did the Chiefs offense make you feel something. Matt, I don't think you saw this because, as we were kind of talking about before we started recording, you had to watch the Chicago feed because, I mean, you couldn't really watch.
I get the local feed. I'm 45 minutes outside Chicago, so yeah.
Right, unless you torrented, I guess, and we're pirating the.
I don't care enough about this to do that. No. It's a preseason. I was watching.
Fair enough. Brett Veach was on. This was his annual conversation with Ari and Trent, and he was talking about how after the Seattle game, they were thinking like, "Wow, does his roster suck?" He's like, they were talking about. He's like, "Wow, did we mess up?" And which I'm glad that it wasn't just us that was feeling dejected about this team after that Seattle game. Look, the front office was feeling it too.
Yeah,
obviously. Which actually huge. I just remember that Sky Moore's been traded since the last time we recorded a podcast. That's going to be big, and we're probably not going to touch on it a lot in this show. But
it's on a long enough moment of silence.
Play the Tats.
Okay, I mean, listen, I'm glad for him that he has a fresh start.
Yeah.
I think I'm also glad for the Chiefs that they have a fresh start. Everybody needed a fresh start there.
It's great that they got a partially stocked vending machine for Sky Moore.
Dude, I know this sounds like I'm taking a shot. I swear to God, I'm not. I can't believe they got anything.
That's, yes, 100%.
I genuinely, and somebody was like, oh, it's like a pig swap at 20 spots in 2027. I was like, bro, I can't believe it's that.
Right,
like,
yeah.
What? Like, okay. I thought the Chiefs might have to attach a pick.
Well, they did, kind of.
And the third, you just take him.
A third? Oh, my God.
Yeah, right. That a top 100. Okay, so in any event, listen. Happy trails to Sky Moore. The Chiefs on Friday, we're going to get to a ton of stuff here. But,
yeah, a lot.
My number one, just flashing light thing, to Matt Lane's point about feeling something. We could talk about Tyquan Thornton. We could talk about the way they ran the ball really effectively. We could talk about how Caleb Williams looked like me against the first-team defense. We could talk about a lot of things. If the Chiefs' offensive line plays like that, they will not be beaten many times in 2025. Mahomes at one point broke out a cigar and a pina colada. There was a minimum 5 or 6 snaps where he hit his back foot, and I think after the last 2 years is expecting to okay, I've got to get rid of it. and looked around like there's nobody within 8 yards of me.
Right.
I can just sit here and pat this mother and, oh, yeah, Kelce's open for 20. Like, he somehow, in a quarter, I'll make sure I'm right with this, threw for 143 yards and a touchdown on 11 yards per attempt, and they dropped 3 passes.
Yeah, right.
Like, he could have easily thrown for like $175 and 2 touchdowns in a quarter against a starting team, a starting defense that most people believe is a top 10 defense. And I understand, like, they're not game plan. I understand all that. But neither are the Chiefs. And he was shredding the daylights out of them, mostly because their offensive line is like, here's 9 seconds. What can you do with that? He's got quite a bit, actually. Yeah, I mean, Kingsley was one of my big, like,
Yeah.
he was terrific. He was terrific. Like, he was so up and down at best in the first 2 games. You're like, all right, like, man, right. He was, again, haven't seen the All-22 yet, but watching the broadcast, he looked perfect. I didn't see one snap. I was watching him. I didn't see one snap where he got beat.
Yeah, right. It was the one that I would have probably called out, and again, he doesn't get beat here because it's a quick throw and this is how it's designed. Was the touchdown? Was that last snap? I think guard the tackle gets by him pretty quick, but it doesn't matter just because it's a quick back shoulder throw.
Right.
So like that would have been the only gripe. And look, admittedly, we as a podcast have been pretty hard on Kingsley because that's an issue. Like the offensive line's been an issue. So I mean, we're probably a bit of, as Chiefs fans, probably a little overly sensitive to the offensive line struggles, and you get conditioned that way. But to see Patrick Mahomes drop back and sit there for 3, 4, 5,
dude,
and just sit back
all night.
Oh my! Oh, look, and I understand. Like this is a good Chicago Bears defense. I had to pull up their roster, but I mean, like, they've got guys you've heard of, like Montez Sweat, Gervon Dexter, Grady Jarrett.
They have a very good defensive line.
Yeah, and they made them look pedestrian, and I thought that was pretty impressive.
Also, by the way, there's a lot of plays in the running for this. Play of the night happened on that Kareem Hunt drop.
Oh, Trey Smith is that what you're talking about?
Trey Smith.
Yes.
Changed multiple lives on that play. Like, he took out Montez Sweat.
Yeah.
Like, you don't see that very often when the ones are in a preseason game.
Right.
He annihilated Montez Sweat and then was like, oh, wait, that guy, I couldn't see the number of the guy who, I wouldn't even say beat Simmons because Simmons blocked him for like 4 seconds, but like, who eventually got around him. And Smith was like, oh, good, a daily double. And then just crushed him. Oh, my God. That's why you pay Trey Smith. Like, because I'll tell you right now, the offensive line is going to be feeling themselves this weekend watching that tape. Everybody on that O-line, and also, by the way, Mahomes, is going to watch that play and be like, hell yeah. And the rest of the offensive line is going to be like, all right, cool. You're going to do that. I'm going to try to top that. Like, I'm going to wheel around and you're going to get a guy like a Simmons who's going to go, cool. I'm going to ear hole some guy, right. That's stuff you need that. I always loved Derek Fisher for that because he had a little bit of nasty to him. Like he would try to kill you. Like that is one thing I think like that matters on the line that you got a tone setter who's just like, hey man, I get a shot on you. I'm going to send you to Mars.
Yeah.
Here it comes. That was the best part, if you watch that play, is Jawan Taylor's reaction because Jawan Taylor is blocking him, and he's to his
actively engaged.
Yeah. He's blocking him like it wasn't like he was getting around him, and Smith just peeled off and kills him, and then Taylor's like standing there and has no idea what to do and just falls on him. He was just like, all right, like thanks, man.
Yeah.
No, that was listen, that was to me. Defense looked great.
Yes, it did.
A lot of stuff to get to. But, man, if they block like that, they're going to score a bajillion points because the weapons are. I mean, Rice looked terrific. He would have caught that other ball if he didn't get face masked.
Right.
Worthy looked terrific. Tyquan Thornton looks like Jerry Rice this summer. I don't know what's gone on, but Tyquan, when he threw that ball, I was like, it's just PTSD for the last 2 years. Like, oh, God.
Yeah, right.
And then he just caught it. Like, oh my God, he caught the ball? Unbelievable. And Kelce, a couple catches deep down.
I know.
They were running. I mean, no, they block like that for him. They give him 3+ seconds. It's a wrap.
Yeah, I 100% agree, and I think we got to talk about Patrick Mahomes because like this is the first time we saw him. It like the first game doesn't even count of the 2 snaps that he ran officially, 3 unofficial snaps that he ran. Like that doesn't really count. I know he came out there and they had a touchdown pass, 1 for 1, 1-yard touchdown. Awesome, great stat line, super efficient. I'm more impressed with this stat line when you look at this one. 8 of 13, 143 yards and a touchdown, as you mentioned. 3 drops that on that drive with the Kareem Hunt drop. There was also a drop from Travis Kelce there on that one. And then the other drop was the Brashard Smith one pretty early on in that drive as well, which by the way, great throw by Patrick Mahomes there. It was touch high. You got to catch it.
Yeah, but he put it on him. Like that, like that's a ball that Smith would tell you, I got to catch that.
But to my point, Patrick Mahomes was on. Like he looked cooking. And here's the thing that I don't know if you noticed this. He looked like the way that he was moving around, the way that he was comfortable in the pocket, the way he was navigating the pocket. That was 2018 Mahomes. That right there, the way he was moving around, that was 2018 Mahomes, and that got me excited.
Man, I'm trying to bring up things so I can talk about him intelligently and not stuff memory. If you go look at that Thornton throw, okay, so Matt Lane, by the way, credit to him. He's got a bunch of videos up. I'm looking at his feed right now. So Mahomes hits his back foot, and he's at the 16-yard line.
Mm-hmm.
There are 4 rushers for the Bears. One of them's at the 18, but he's pushed super wide by Smith and Taylor.
Yeah.
The other 3 Bears, Mahomes is at the 16. The other 3 Bears are at the 21, the 23, and the 24. They're not in the zip code. And for people who are 8 yards, that's 24 feet.
Right, yes.
He's not in his zip code with Mahomes. And Mahomes just draws back. It's cool, here it comes. By the way, on that play, if he needed to, Kelce was wide open underneath.
Uh-huh.
Rice was wide open for 20 yards on a crosser. I think it's Worthy. Worthy is wide open for another 25 yards going the other way on a crosser. He could have thrown to anybody and had yardage. But, correctly, of course, went to Thornton. And Thornton just beat the brakes off of Brisker in the corner on the 9 ball. You're right. It did feel like that where he had time and he was like, cool, I'm not throwing the ball 3 yards. Here it comes. And actually, I'll send him on for a second. Listen, I'm not a big he heard this in the media and now he's going to
right.
I feel like that's something we all talk about,
mm-hmm.
Whatever. Although he is the guy who counted to 10 on his fingers and did that whole thing when Baltimore at the 4, on the 4th best player in the league. I can't express how much I hope he's ranked number 27 on this players list.
It's gonna be close.
But honestly, I'm surprised Bo Nix didn't beat him out. I do think there is an element this year of you think these guys are on my level? Yeah. I'm going to show you they're not. It's a little bit of that Jordan thing. If you watch The Last Dance, where Jordan was Jerry Krause thought Dan Marley was a good defensive player, and I was going to show him he wasn't. And then it just killed poor Dan Marley for 6 games in the NBA Finals. I do think there is some of that, and also too, look, this should be fun. This should not be this labor of oh God, it's 3 to 5 yards a clip. And that is where I go into Thornton here a little bit.
Yeah.
I know what Worthy is. Worthy's a terrific young player. I know what Rice, if healthy, is phenomenal. Okay. Thornton at the beginning of camp, I was yeah, all right, fine. He's looked good in camp. Who cares?
Right.
And then I went to St. Joe. I was this fucking guy's been the best guy on the field. This guy is killing their first team corners. He was routing up Watson, who, by the way, had a Dunze in hell.
Right. Yes.
Roma Dunze can't get on that plane fast enough to get the hell away from Jalen Watson. But then, you're watching these preseason games, if you remember against Arizona, so he had the one PI where he drew that in the end zone, but he also had a 90-yard touchdown. Bailey Zappi threw the ball 10 yards out of bounds.
Right, yeah.
Okay. And then you're watching this, and he threw that ball, and he hit him in the hands 60-some-odd yards. And I think, okay. Mahomes not only trusts him enough to throw it, but, had perfect synergy with him. Bang, here it is. That has actually become a real thing. It's okay. this guy might play like real snaps for them, which I never thought in a million years he would, ever.
Right.
But I don't know. I mean, Hollywood doesn't play.
Yeah.
Royals is a rookie with a little tendonitis. Okay, fine. Like, I'm not saying that Tyquan Thornton's going to all of a sudden be puking the coo out there, but like, does he see 30 snaps a game? Like, does he? I don't know. I mean, maybe that's a gross over exaggeration. I don't know. But nothing else, it's become interesting with him.
I think so too. And especially when you take the wide receiver math into it, right? When you start to talk about Rashee Rice's suspension, with Hollywood Brown, as you brought up, like Hollywood Brown, we don't know what his health status is, how many games he's going to play. Jalen Royals, I know he is, as you mentioned, the tendonitis thing. Like, there's a real possibility that like he could have to eat some snaps for this team and have to be out there. And look, if he is your guy, if it's Tyquan Thornton that is your, I'm going to say this in air quotes for the people listening, sacrificial X, that's no longer sacrificial when you saw what he just did in this preseason game. Like, that's an actual legit threat that teams have to account for. I think that that's important for this offense. I think that opens up so much more things when they didn't have to account for that, because you saw Travis Kelce. Travis Kelce looked a whole lot younger than he did last year, which is kind of crazy to talk about. But like,
Travis Kelce looked like actually spry.
He made Jaquan Brisker, who was chirping at him earlier in the game.
Or Jaquan Brisker.
Yeah, and it made him look silly. That's 33-year-old Travis Kelce out here doing the same route, the same move he's done for the last, 15 years. Right. And he's still doing it. Like, I know he didn't have that drop, but I mean, man, like, I do think that there's a real possibility where it could get scary for 31 NFL defenses.
Also, by the way, he is 35-year-old, almost 36-year-old Travis Kelce.
What year is it? Hang on, I forgot he was that old.
He's 36 in like 2 months.
That's insane.
Okay, and Jaquan Brisker just left his ankles on the field. So, listen, no, they were. One thing also I find interesting, since we were talking about Mahomes.
Yeah.
And I've seen some smart people pick this. I actually, again, it feels like Matt Lane is the third member of the show today.
Yeah, it's because of Matt Lane hour.
I normally I just dump on him for fun, but I've got to give him credit. We'll have to dump on Kent later. Yeah. Even it out. I've noticed that he's thrown a couple back shoulders.
Yeah, that's a thing.
Like, he did that twice in this game to Rice, where the first one, Rice somehow drew 2 penalties on the. I still don't know how that was enforced.
Yeah,
it was like pass interference, and then also fuck that guy, 15 more yards for a face mask. I was like, wait a minute, you can accept 2 penalties?
I didn't know that was possible either. Yeah,
like, wasn't the face mask the pass interference? Like, isn't it the same? Like, whatever, sure. Right. So that was right on the money. Like, to be fair, if Rice wasn't interfered with, I'm sure it would have caught it. And then the touchdown was back shoulder. And if I'm not mistaken, wasn't there? Oh, the Brownlee touchdown against the Cardinals.
The Brownlee touchdown was, yes.
And it's like, that's a throw that he does not typically make. I mean, every once in a blue moon you see him throw, but it's not something he does often.
Right.
And it's been very often in the preseason, to the point you're like, yeah, that's different. You don't see him do that a lot. Yeah, I thought he was dialed in. I thought the line looked terrific. And then, listen, I also think we got to mention quick, and I know we'll go to a break here in a second, but like, I thought they ran the hell out of the football when they had the starters in the game.
Like, yeah, I wanted to talk about that too.
And I want to also say, because we have given them a lot of crap, and like Frank, they were running behind Kingsley's at, and he was just plowing through people, which we've talked about. Like, he's been excellent as a run blocker.
Mm-hmm.
It's been the pass blocking that's been the issue. Well, tonight, Pacheco on the one that he almost scored on.
Yeah.
I think I could have gotten 5.
Yeah.
There was a hole about 15 feet wide between him and Simmons. And I was like, I don't care who your running back is. I mean, you're picking up something.
Uh-huh.
Pacheco had some nice bursts. It's been nice to see him run in the way that he did before he got hurt last year.
Yes.
I think the running back room, I'm not going to paint it out like they have Walter Payton and Evan Smith back there. They don't.
Yeah.
But Pacheco looked good. Hunt, for what he did other than his drop pass, he ran well. Brashard Smith is still the guy that's really interesting to me.
100%.
Like, that guy's a nightmare to match up against. The dude runs a 4.4 flat, and he's an ex-receiver who's also a running back.
Yeah.
Get that guy the ball. I mean, look, I know he dropped the one ball. He torched them twice down the seam. 2 different times in pairs, so I have no idea how to cover this guy.
Yeah.
I thought it was a really good night for the run game, but also just for the running backs in general.
I think so too. I think that's a really good point because there's been a lot of noise about that running back room. And again, as you mentioned, rightfully so. We've been hard on that running back room just because it's not very pretty, for lack of a better term. Like there's not a sexy running back there. And it could potentially be Brashard Smith. But there's times when he looks like he is a wide receiver playing running back. And that's what he is. And I don't think that's that crazy of a thing to say. But Isaiah Pacheco, 3 carries for 21 yards, 7 yards a carry. You'll take that if he's going to average 7 yards a carry this year. Like, that feels pretty good. He looks, to your point, Matt, he looks like he's running better than what he was last year. Last year was like kind of like late. I understand he broke his leg, right? Like that's not an easy thing to come back from. But he looks like he's not laboring as much. He's not as like aggressive with his steps and angry, for lack of a better term, right? I still think he has that same je ne sais quoi, right, about his running, his stride and everything like that. But it's not as clunky. He looks smooth. I did enjoy that. Rashard Smith, obviously, we talked about the pass catching ability. Look, I don't know if at SMU they got guys slinging the rock like Patrick Mahomes. So I think that first game might have snuck up on him. Right. I don't want to disparage Clark Hunt's, university.
They don't have that guy.
That's fine.
They haven't since they stopped paying players like it was a pro team back in the 80s.
Now they can do that. So the SMU should be good.
And now they're back. Right. Like, we've been waiting for this forever.
SMU should be on top of this sport. I don't know what's happening.
Not a problem.
But I will say, it does not look like Elijah Mitchell is going to be on this football team.
I'd be shocked. There's no reason for him.
Playing deep in the third preseason game, they're probably just trying to give him a look, is what I would assume. But man, he just doesn't have a lot of juice, and that's not his fault, man. I mean, he's had a career. I mean, he's had himself a career. And he's just, the injuries kind of caught up to him and have slowed him down. And look, they took a gamble. They took a shot on maybe in a healthy Elijah Mitchell will boost this offense up. Do you still think after today, after we saw them play on Friday, I should say, that they'll still go after a running back possibly?
I mean, I still think it's possible. I think it's very interesting that, look, Elijah Mitchell never played in the first half of that game.
Right.
And he's not on teams. Like, I would be floored if Elijah Mitchell makes this team.
Right.
So then you get into, all right, look, Smith is going to make the team. And obviously Pacheco and Hunter are going to make the team. Carson Steele didn't play a down that I'm aware of.
Yeah.
So, like, that's odd because he played a lot in that Seattle game, which makes you wonder, is he just a guy on the outside looking in and they were like, look, let's give him a ton of run against the Seahawks because we don't really care about this game?
Could be, yeah.
Kind of feels that way. So I do think they could still be, look, if you're the Chiefs, I don't think you could turn your nose up at like, hey, you want Alvin Kamara? To take him. Yeah, I don't think you'd be, no, we're good. We have Brashard Smith. You know what I mean? But I do think there's a world that you sit there and go, all right, look, if Pacheco has this kind of burst, then we're not as desperate. Because one thing about Pacheco, I will say, and look, I'm guilty of this too. I think we talk about him like last year was the only year he's ever played in his life. And it's like, oh, well, last year he was bad. And he was bad when he played. He was coming off the injury. The first 2 years of his career, the guy ran for 830 yards on 4.9 yards per attempt, and then 935 yards in 14 games, by the way, on 4.6 yards per attempt.
Yeah.
Like, he averaged over 1,000 scrimmage yards each of those 2 years. If he goes out there and gives you 900 plus rushing yards on 4.5 yards per attempt, like, if you're the Chiefs, you're like, great, awesome. And then if Kareem Hunt gives you 400 rushing yards, all right, fine.
Yeah.
Between those two guys, what you'll get from ancillary backs and Mahomes, you'll rush for 2,000 yards. Fine. So I got to be honest. I think if you got Brett Veach in a really honest, quiet moment, you're like, Brett, what do you feel about those running backs? I think you lean in real close and go, Did you see the way we pass blocked in that fucking game?
Yeah.
I don't give a damn about the running backs because we're about to throw the ball 45 times a game if we can do that. And like that's the running back will just be like a function of the offense. Now you could argue that they should do more, and I would argue that I think they should have been more aggressive in the way they addressed running backs all season. But you saw in this game, listen, if they can throw the ball like that, nobody's going to care because it's just going to become like, oh yeah, hand it to Isaiah every once in a while. That's fine. And then just let 15 throw it, and they're going to score 30 points. So, but yes, I still think, they're going to monitor it. I think, and they should.
Mm-hmm. It's more of and I think when we talk about this, a lot of people take it as an attack on Isaiah Pacheco, and that's not necessarily true. It's more of just like maybe it's more an indictment on Kareem Hunt. Like you probably want your backup running back to have a little bit more juice than Kareem Hunt has, and Kareem Hunt's old. I mean, he was drafted in 2018. Like that's just the nature of the game, and he's old for a running back. I think that's just trying to improve that position. But as you mentioned, and we've talked about this several places on KC Sports Network, running back isn't as big of an issue because you have Patrick Mahomes and the way that offense is centered. And maybe the running back concerns get a little blown out of the water. I still do think there's a little bit of a concern there, especially with the depth of that room, how you feel with guys getting in there if their Pacheco does get hurt, right? Because he hasn't played a full season in his NFL career. Like that's a real thing. But if Kareem Hunt gets hurt, like you're looking to be pretty thin. But again, if they pass block as good as they are right now, as good as they did in that first preseason or the last preseason game, man, I think they'll be pretty good. Matt, we got to take a break. We haven't talked about the defense at all, and we got to get to that. We'll do it right after this break. Chiefs.
Looking for tickets for your next event? Tickets for Less is your #1 source. Save big on every purchase when you use promo code KCSN at ticketsforless.com.
Success in real estate takes more than vision. It takes the right financial partner. When someone takes something rundown and turns it into something great, that's called a comeback story, like Brain Group. They take distressed properties here in KC, completely rework them, and then turn them into valuable real estate. But that kind of work needs the right bank behind it. Enter Emprise Bank. They're not about cookie-cutter loans. They saw Brain Group's vision, backed them, and now they're making big moves in Kansas City real estate. Talk about your partner in possible. Emprise doesn't do one-size-fits-all financing. They invest in potential and back growth. Visit emprisebank.com/KC to learn more. Emprise Bank, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
Folks, nothing beats hanging out with the boys on a hot summer day and watching some baseball. And the simplest way that you all can get in on the action is to download the Pick 6 app from DraftKings. It is crazy simple. Just pick more or less on the stats for 2 or more of your favorite players, and boom, you're in the mix for big cash prizes. And the best part is, Pick 6 is available right here in Missouri. Don't miss out on the fun. Don't settle for a smaller payout. Switch to Pick 6, and right now, new customers can get $25 in bonus picks with their first deposit of $5. Here's what you got to do. Download the DraftKings Pick 6 app now and then use code KCSN. That's code KCSN for new customers to get $25 in bonus picks with their first deposit of $5. Better payouts, bigger wins, only with Pick 6 from DraftKings. The crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Must be 18 plus. Age and eligibility restrictions vary by jurisdiction. Void where prohibited. New customers only. Minimum $5 deposit. Bonus picks expire 168 hours after issuance. For additional terms and responsible gaming resources, see pick6.draftkings.com/promos.
Just a short drive from Kansas City. Experience the history, the heritage, and the bourbon at Holiday Distillery. Tour Missouri's oldest distillery, where real Missouri bourbon is made the old-fashioned way. Walk the grounds, taste the tradition, and take home a bottle of something special. Make the trip, sip the story. Holiday Distillery, Weston, Missouri. Book your tour at holidaydistillery.com.
Matt, this game is great because it serves two purposes for me. We can see the Chiefs play good football. That's great. That's phenomenal. Love that. I also get to make fun of the Bears as well because they stink. They're bad.
Well, listen, if I'm being honest, I took a pretty good beating on Twitter about a week ago when I went to a Bills-Bears joint practice. And I wrote that the Bears offense did not play well in that practice. And a lot of the Bears beat writers, and I'm not saying they're even wrong, but they were like, this is the best practice of Caleb Williams' entire camp. So I had Bears fans who were furious at me because they're like, you're blind. I literally, one guy accused me of not being there. Oh. And one of my buddies who covers the team, Adam Hogue, was like, no, he was definitely there. He was standing there talking to me. But all these beat writers, his best practice he had all summer. And I wrote that he was average. Their offense stunk as a whole. And yeah, it's not great if you're just kind of looking like a guy and you're the number 1 overall pick.
Right.
That's how I feel. And God bless my editor, who I will ride with forever, love him to death, wrote the headline was, the Bears are running out of time to fix Caleb Williams, which set off just a fervor. Okay. Which it's fine.
Page views.
I saw the headline before he published it. Like, I'm with him. But like, the point is, I got so many Bears fans screaming at me, you don't know ball. You don't know ball. And then this game happened. Because after that practice, they played the Bills' second-team defense, and he played well, and the Bears won 38-0. Everybody was like, oh, look what's going on. Like, like the Dan Orlovsky video of, this kid's special. And then they played the Chiefs' first-team defense. And if you look at the box score of this game.
Yes, let's do.
Okay, if you look at the box score of this game, Caleb Williams went 11-15 for $113 and a touchdown. So that sounds pretty good.
Yeah.
But as you pointed out before we did the show, he also had an extra drive where they played against second stringers.
Right.
If you remove that drive, he went 6 of 9 for 41 yards. He threw for 4.5 yards per attempt. Like, it was not a masterpiece. But look, most of the throws he made against their starting unit were just like quick screens, quick outs.
Yep.
They couldn't do anything. It was, look, some of it was on Williams. Some of it was also like, there were times where he had a pressure in his face. And there were also times where it was like, man, he has nowhere to go.
Yeah.
Nowhere. And so, I mean, the Chiefs defense, I thought the defensive line as a whole was excellent. They were crushing the pocket. They were Jones was in there, Karlaftis, Menahu, Dan, and they all played well. But Ashton Gillott was active in that game. There was one play he almost killed the running back before the guy got the ball.
Yeah,
that was against the second team, but he was excellent. I thought the secondary was excellent, but I also thought it was interesting. I was very curious to see what they would do now with Fulton being back. Like, what's that rotation look like? A lot of Jaden Hicks starting in that game. Like, Connor stayed in the game though. Like, it was like the three of them were moving guys all over the place. They had Hicks in man coverage at times. They had Connor in man coverage at times. Cook was like this one safety who's just he stayed in his safety role. Jalen Watson had Roma Dunze in prison.
Yeah.
For the first 3 drives of that game. Roma Dunze couldn't get away from him at all. I thought the Chiefs, look, Spagnuolo said, he's like, hey, we're going to play better in this game. And they did. They were excellent.
I want to start with the defensive line because I do think that I was really impressed by Jerry Tillery. I think Jerry Tillery played a lot better than what we've seen him play. But here's the other thing with Jerry Tillery. We hadn't seen him come into games until like the second half a lot of the time. So this was a time when you were actually getting to see him rotate in and play in there with the starters with Chris Jones. And you start to see the vision. You're like, oh, okay, I see what we're doing here. Like when Chris Jones is out here on the field, you got him going. I mean, Jones had a sack. Charles Omenihu, they split that half sack.
Jones and Omenihu each had one, and McDonald had a sack.
Yeah, shout out big Coop McDonald. Like he was about the only one who was stuffing and run against Seattle too. So he comes in there. Maybe he'll sneak in as an extra. I was about to say,
with FAU now not making it because he's hurt, obviously.
Right.
IR. We will see, but yeah, the spot opens up. I just thought they played really well. The defense was in tandem. Like, these were the secondary really blanketed the receivers. I'll tell you a couple plays that impressed me. One was it was a 3rd and 8, something. And Colston Loveland, the top 10 pick in the draft, ran drag route across the field in man coverage, and Jaden Hicks was on him. And Loveland caught the ball, but he was tackled immediately, and it wasn't even close to first. It was like 4 or 5 yards shy. It was an excellent play by Hicks. I mentioned Watson. I thought he was terrific. I didn't even see McDuffie because he never throw at him.
Right.
You just assume he played really well, although apparently he's like the 98th best player in the NFL or whatever the fuck they ranked him as. So he put, the secondary I thought played well. Fulton, I thought Fulton, it was just good to get him in there.
Yeah, he played deep into this game too. Yeah, which was good.
If you remember, they did that last year in this game with Watson.
And he looked like ass. You remember that?
Oh, he got killed. Yeah, people were like, oh my God. And then he played the best football he's ever played. Fulton was getting Watson was getting annihilated in that game.
Oh man.
No, but I thought it was good to get him in there. But I was impressed by the play by Hicks. I also, look, I don't even know whether this is an impressive play or it was just funny. When they blitzed Chanel and he came so clean that he hesitated because I think he thought it was a screen pass.
Yeah, right.
And then he was like, wait, no, it's not a screen pass, and just ran at Williams. And Williams just like rocket launched the ball just straight up into the air. And I was like, that's interesting. If I'm the Bears, I don't feel great about that because Karlaftis also earlier in the game is just a free run.
Yeah.
By the way, one guy, Hicks. Hicks depleted Caleb Williams on a blitz.
Yeah.
Just killed him. That was actually a play Watson, great coverage on a Dunze. He knocked the ball out of his hands. That was that drive where they had like a couple of starters, but like 8 of them were probably reserves. Listen, I don't know what the negative. I mean, if you really want to nitpick, like it was the drops, I guess.
Yeah.
That was probably the thing. But man, Mahomes looked awesome.
Mm-hmm.
The line looked spectacular. The backup line looked good in front of Minshew. Like the receivers, were getting wide open, including Kelce, who looked young. The line looked good. It looked deep. The corners played. I mean, I don't know. Other than, again, a couple of drops and shit, you want to clean that up. I don't know what the case would be that anybody had a bad night. I mean, they really, you can't feel any better. And they got out of it injury free. Nobody got hurt. Like, I think if you're the Chiefs, but you got to feel like, okay, can't have a much better way to go into the regular season than that game.
100%. And I think that's the best case scenario for this final preseason game. That they went out there, the ones went out there, they got into a groove. They've got the Brazil game coming up and everything like that. But I think that's the best case scenario. Matt, let's hit some quick hitters because it's been a minute around the NFL since we last chatted, and there's been some trades happen across the NFL as well. This NFL cycle, as we got a few minutes left here, this like bottom of the roster trading going on has been like kind of crazy, and a lot of names happening with Chiefs and former Chiefs. You got the Jets adding a couple of defensive tackles. Derek Nottie could be on the cutting block there in New York.
If the Chiefs bring back Derek Nottie, I'm going to have commentary.
I
How did they not bring back Colin Saunders, by the way?
Yeah, if they knew that he was available, maybe they didn't know he was available.
I love Colin Saunders, man. Like, I would have been so happy if they brought him back.
Right.
Also, by the way, speaking of the Jets,
yes,
the Jets played a home game against the Eagles on Friday night. The Eagles played a quarterback named Kyle McCord.
Oh, yeah. Syracuse legend, man.
Yes, so I'm aware.
Okay.
15 of 35 for a $136, 3.9 yards per attempt, and a pick. And the Eagles won that game 19-17. I don't know what you do with that to the Jets.
Yeah.
Not great. The Eagles also ran for 2.8 yards per attempt in that game and somehow managed to win. That's the Jets. The Eagles had 199 yards and won because it just had 3 turnovers. They're the Jets.
And we mentioned the Chiefs trading Sky Moore. We mentioned, Demarcus Robinson, former Chief, suspended 3 games for a DUI, league's substance abuse policy, which then led to the Jets trading for Sky Moore. Or not the Jets, sorry. I had Jets on the brain. The Niners trading for Sky Moore. The Niners also traded for Brian Robinson.
They did.
Which, I mean, look, they're adding things, which is good because that team has been absolutely smoked with injuries this season.
Yeah, and last season. Apparently it's just never stopping.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, listen, I mean, the Niners are a mash unit.
They are.
You know, not great when it's August and you're sitting there like, I don't know, Sky Moore? Like, we'll do anything.
Right. They are putting their hopes in Sky Moore to be their wide receiver too.
The Chiefs should have held out for a second, seeing what happened.
Maybe. They could have got it.
You know? So, yeah, it's interesting too to see how this is all played out.
The Devon Vele trade, the Saints giving up a 4th rounder for Devon Vele. Like, he good year last year.
So I have a little bit of a different take on this, and
Okay.
I know I sound contrarian, but I really do believe this. Sorry, I don't watch. I'm turning away watching football. I totally understand why Denver made the trade. Like when George Payton got that phone call, he must have been, what?
But right, yes, 100%.
Like, what are you gonna do? Oh yeah, we're the worst team in football. Here's a 4th rounder. Okay. I mean, Devon Vele, despite the fact he was a rookie last year, is 27 years old.
100%. That's a great.
And but like, I will also argue this. You know, there's been a lot of chatter, like an aggressive amount of chatter about how great Denver is this year.
Mm-hmm.
He was the wide receiver 2 on that team. Like,
yeah,
I understand there's not probably some massive drop off between him and like the next guy. I get it. I actually liked Vele. Like, I really did. Like, I actually was like,
had a good year. Yeah.
Thought he was pretty good. Again, I do not blame the Broncos for making the trade. They probably were like, oh my God. I mean, you're going to give us what is a top like 110 pick in the draft. Okay.
Yeah.
But I do think it makes them like, I've seen this weird narrative from a lot of Broncos fans like, oh, he wasn't going to make the team. So yeah, bro. Yeah, he was. Like, what? Yeah, he was going to make the team. I promise you, he was going to make the fucking team. Like Ben Albright, who covers them, was like, yeah, not only was he going to make the team, he was going to be a starter.
Yeah.
Because now without him, obviously Sutton is their number 1 guy.
Uh-huh.
The rest of their roster is at that position, obviously. Pat Bryant, 3rd round pick. We'll see what he becomes. A.T. Perry, Joaquin Davis, Marvin Mims, Troy Franklin, Trent Sherfield, Michael Bandy, Courtney Jackson, Jerwan Newton, and Kyrese Rowan.
They must really like Troy Franklin.
They must have loved that 4th round pick. Because,
yeah.
Whoa, buddy. I mean, you are, all kidding aside, you are a Cortland Sutton hamstring away from like, no one is ever catching a pass on this team.
Right.
So something to consider. I mean, but in any event, listen, it's a trade that if you're Denver, you're like, all right, you're going to give us that value. Okay, sure. I'm curious to see what the Chiefs, if they have another trade in them.
Mm-hmm.
Joshua Williams is a guy who has starting experience, and he's fallen out of favor in KC, and every team in the league, it feels like needs a corner. And I got to tell you, like, he was finishing the game Friday night.
Yeah.
He is not making the team.
Right.
I don't see any world. Like, if they keep 6 corners, I mean, obviously you got the starting 3. You've got Noah Williams, Najee Johnson, Christian Roland Wallace.
Yeah.
Good night. I mean, those are the 6 guys making the team. I don't know. Unless Johnson is like an IR thing or something with his shoulder. But it would have to be like that. You know what I mean? I don't see any world where he's making the team. He doesn't play.
Right.
So, you know, if you're the Chiefs, again, you're not getting a ton for him. Could you get a 7th round pick for him? I don't know. I mean, you got to pick for Sky Moore.
Yeah.
Just saying.
You could probably get something. I did see that the 49ers only gave up a 6th rounder for Brian Robinson too, which like I thought was, I know that he's like kind of, again, that's another guy that's like fallen out of favor with the team and they just have other guys in that room that they like, but he's kind of slowed down a bit, obviously. But feel like they kind of got a bargain with that one. After grossly overpaying for Sky Moore, I think they got a bargain in Brian.
Niners are just wheeling and dealing. Like John Lynch is chain smoking in Santa Clara
He has to, I think. There's no other way to cope with that.
I'll go on the record right now. I've seen it. They're not going to be good.
No.
They're not good. They're just, I'm not sitting there trying to make it out like, although I think they're awful, but like, I spent the whole offseason kind of waffling with them. Like, I don't know what they are. And then like this summer happened. And I'm like,
Yeah.
Like even Brian Robinson, if you're just desperately trading for Brian Robinson, like it's probably not great.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I that's it, huh? That's it.
You need Brian Robinson and Sky Moore to feel good about your team.
Yeah, it's not a good thing. You know?
Yeah, it's tough.
It's not a good thing.
By the way, the 2023 Chiefs or 2023 Chiefs.
Yep.
Continue to be an absolute anomaly in teams that should win Super Bowls. Because
it will continue to be that.
Yeah, I mean, yes, they will. But they're starting receivers when you're like, oh yeah, there are receiver 1 and 2 are going to be Sky Moore and
Darius Toney.
And
wide receiver 3 was MVS.
And yes, I gotta pull this up. We got to talk about this.
Justin Watson. By the way, I saw him at Texans practice the other day when I was at Lions Texans.
How's he look?
It looked fine, but it was just so funny. He walked off the field and I was like, wait, what? It was like jarring for a minute. And I'm like, wait, shouldn't he be in Kansas City?
I recognize you from somewhere.
It was very, I had like this moment of like a butterfly effect. I'm like, wait a minute, like, right. Why are you here? And it's like, oh yeah, right, yeah, okay, now I remember.
It doesn't feel right.
No.
So the Chiefs' leading receivers in that year, Rashee Rice obviously still with the team. This is to the 2023 Chiefs.
Right.
Rashee Rice still with the team. Travis Kelce is obviously the leading receiver. You guys know what he's up to. Justin Watson with the Texans. Marquez Valdes-Scantling has played for, 3 teams since then? Counting the Chiefs? The next year's Chiefs?
Counting the Chiefs, we're now up to 4.
Okay. That's awesome. And then you had Noah Gray and Isaiah Pacheco were ahead of. Sky Moore is your 7th leading receiver. That's fun. He was just traded for a duck vending machine.
The trivia questions in 20 years are going to be unbelievable.
Yeah, that team was legit. There's no way that team should have won a Super Bowl, let alone been in the Super Bowl. They had Richie James catching legit passes in the AFC title game.
Yeah. No, listen, that's going to be a great one, and it's an all-time trivia question. Will be, who are the 2 guys who caught fourth quarter touchdowns against the Eagles in Super Bowl 57? People are going to be like, who? What? Like,
yeah.
Who the hell? By the way, we got a question in the comments earlier this week.
Yes. I'm so glad you brought this up.
Like,
we'll end on this.
Okay. Is Sky Moore? Because I think the exact question. I'll pull up the exact question. Yeah. I don't want.
This is from the Discord, so shout out to the Discord.
Okay.
For giving us this one, and it was directed straight to Matt, so I took a screenshot, sent it right to him.
Yeah, from Hokie Chief.
Shout out.
Yeah. Specific, but if he's a Vodtech fan and a Chiefs fan, boy, he struggled through some offenses.
He did.
That man's desperate as hell for a pass that goes more than 6 feet.
That's a Chiefs fan who really loved Michael Vick when he was in college.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Specific NFL history question for Verderame. Who is the worst player to ever score a touchdown in the Super Bowl? And then he put an emoji of Kadarius Toney. Yeah. Okay. I know there is a temptation here to say it's Kadarius Toney, or to say it is Sky Moore.
Yeah.
But as someone who loves history, I went on a quest. I was like, all right, who is the actual worst player to ever catch a touchdown or score a touchdown?
Score, yeah.
The answer is a guy who scored Super Bowl 10, the Dallas Cowboys. His name is Percy Howard. He's a receiver out of Austin P. State.
Yeah. Shout out Austin P.
Yeah, shout out. Percy Howard played in 8 regular season games in his career, all in 1975 for the Cowboys. He did not have a single catch or a single yard from scrimmage the entire season. And in the playoffs, was active for all 3 games, including the Super Bowl. He caught 1 pass, which is in the Super Bowl,
Yeah.
for a 34-yard touchdown.
Wow.
He never played again. Not because he got hurt, just never played again. So the answer to your question, Hokie Chief, is Percy Howard. I don't think it's even arguable. He, by the way, should note this. He did not ever play college football.
What?
So he went to Austin P on a this is per Wikipedia, okay? This is, I don't care.
So it's right, yeah.
Fine, it's Wikipedia. He accepted a basketball scholarship to play at Austin P. He made the All-Ohio Valley Conference team.
Wow.
Okay. He never played football. He went to the Cowboys as a kick returner.
Yeah.
And never caught a pass until, again, he got into the Super Bowl and down 11 in the final 2 minutes, caught a 34-yard touchdown pass.
Made it a game.
And then, actually, so you know what? I actually said something about Percy Howard that wasn't true. I owe Percy Howard an apology. He did come back in 1976, but he was injured. That's why his career ended.
Gotcha.
So I said it wasn't an injury. I was wrong. He had a knee injury during a preseason game in 76. It missed the whole year. Came back, re-injured his knee. Training camp, missed the whole year. And then was released before 78. The Packers claimed him, but he failed his physical because of the knee. So I was dead wrong. So if Percy Howard's listening, I am sorry, Percy Howard. I ran you out of the bus something fierce. And as it turns out, it is because you had a bum knee. So my apologies, sir. But with due respect, whether you want to say the worst player or the least accomplished player, maybe that's a better way of putting it, just because who knows, maybe he would have had a great career. That is the only catch he ever had in his NFL career. Made it count?
Did they win that Super Bowl?
They did not.
Well, damn.
But he did all he could, man.
He did. He made that game close. He made the game interesting.
It's not his fault. Blame Staubach for not stepping up earlier.
Yeah, great point. More blame needs to be put on him.
Captain America, do something with it. Win the game.
We're probably going to spend next podcast a lot of time talking about the Cowboys because I'm sure Jerry Jones will say something stupid in between now and the time we record another podcast.
Jerry just going into an all-out war
with himself.
Even Mulligetta, who's one of the biggest agents in the world.
Right.
Like, I'm not going to negotiate with that guy. It's just an absolutely mind-boggling situation.
Well, because he knows David Mulligetta is going to rake him over the coals. What's going to end up happening is that he's just going to put him in a torture chamber. Mulligetta is going to get all the money in the world for Micah Parsons, which he deserves.
By the way, Carson Steele, forgot to mention, got some real late carries trying to close out the game in the fourth quarter.
Yeah. Yes. He came in.
I'm going to go ahead and say he's not making the team.
Very late in the fourth is when he came in.
Doesn't feel good that he's making the team.
No.
Got 1 million snaps against Seattle in a game that Andy Reid was actively treating like a hostage negotiation.
Well, it helps if you hang on to the football.
Super quick hitter, and we're going.
Yep.
Andy Reid now has bulletproof glass, apparently. In his
office. Because that's a crazy thing.
Shooting at the stadium, it's not great.
That's a crazy thing that was like, oh, yeah, by the way, shout out Sam McDowell for that story.
Sam McDowell, case,
yeah,
give him credit.
Yeah. Did a lot of great work getting that all that information out. 15 months, I think, is how long that they kept that under wraps, which is honestly in today's day and age super impressive. Yeah, that they kept that under wraps for 15 months. But insane story. Go read the Casey Star if you haven't already. Go read. Shout out to Sam McDowell for that story.
Yes.
Yeah, that's insane. Go check that out. We'll dive into a lot more stuff. Like, obviously, this podcast coming out right after the game, so we wanted to get as much game stuff into it as we can. We've got a week in between when the Chiefs play again. So next, we'll do a podcast on Tuesday. It'll come out on Tuesday for you guys, and then we're back to our normal schedule. We'll go Tuesday, we'll go Friday, and then back to Monday.
It's cut
so
down
thank
Tuesday.
Goodness. Right. So we might do a 53-man roster projection for our Monday episode. We might break out our pens. We might break out the rulers and the abacuses and
then watch as Brent Beach keeps like Brownlee and just screws us all over.
Yeah, that'll happen. But we won't screw you guys over. We appreciate you watching all the way to the end of that
right.
football show. So for Matt Verderame and Tucker Franklin, thank you to our partners at Ben Holiday, Bottled and Bond Bourbon. Appreciate you listening to us on a Saturday, too. Shout out. Plenty of football on this weekend. Go check it out. Week 0 going on, too. We got Week 0. We got other NFL preseason games wrapping up. It's going to be a doozy. But that's going to do it for us here at That Football Show. We will talk to you guys on Tuesday. See ya.